But we're very poor, so we live in a very white trash neighborhood. And my girlfriend, when we got this house, she's really into the paranormal. So she was paranoid that this house might be haunted. And I had to explain to her that ghosts don't haunt shitty neighborhoods. Like, there's not one horror movie where it happens, you know? Because, like, how does a ghost even make itself known in a shitty neighborhood, you know? Like, you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night, like, oh, I hear banging on the windows, it must be a ghost. Like, no, that's just the neighbor, he does that, you know? He smokes meth and he bangs on windows, we know this. You're gonna get up in the morning, like, all the furniture's kicked around, it must have been a poltergeist. Like, no, we got broken into, that's what happened. I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard crying. Like, yeah, that was me. Because I can't afford to replace anything in this fucking house, and the door's broke and we keep getting broken into. It's a bad situation in our neighborhood. One thing that is interesting, though, about living in a white trash neighborhood is when you walk outside at night, you can't tell the difference between the sound of domestic abuse or just some guy looking for his dog, you know? You just hear, Crystal, get in here, you bitch! And you're like, oh my God. That's the guy that bangs on the windows, I know him. False alarm, no big deal. It is an interesting neighborhood. We did have a murder in our neighborhood recently. And what happened is they found a guy in a storage container a couple blocks away from us, and they figured the body had been in there for 2 months. And yeah, and they went around like to all the other areas except our street to ask people questions. But they never came on our street, so I was like, oh, the police must know that we're like good people here and we wouldn't do that. But it turns out it's because they know none of us can afford to rent a storage container for 2 months. Yeah, it wasn't that great, right? So, we did have some people move in recently next to us. We got some new neighbors, and I'm not a big fan of them, to tell you the truth, because they are Jeep people, and I'm not a... Is that guy you on a Jeep? No. Oh, okay, good, all right. But, well, okay, but really, even if any of you did have a Jeep, I don't hate all Jeep people. It's just the ones that make their Jeep their entire personality. That's what bothers me. And that's what these neighbors do. Like, both of them have a Jeep, and on the back of each of their Jeeps, they have a sticker, and the sticker says, "It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand." What is it, geometry or something? How hard could it be to understand? It's just weird, like, you never see that with other car owners, you know? Like, you never see, like, "It's a Subaru Outback thing." My wife left and took the kids. You understand, you know? Like, I never see that. Or like, "It's a PT Cruiser thing." It's depressing and we won't get into it, you know? I don't see that. They also, on their Jeeps, they have you ever seen those like headlight attachments so that the Jeep headlights look like angry eyes? Have you seen those? And like, they have that, and then they have Monster Energy stickers all over the Jeep. And I know this isn't how it works, but I want to believe that at one time it was a happy Jeep. And then their owner put all the stickers on it, and now they're just like, fuck you, man. Like, they're just mad all the time. I like to think that's how it works, anyway. I did meet a guy in our neighborhood that I actually hadn't met yet. But I'd seen him around, because he's this guy, he's one of those older guys that wants to act like a badass still. Like, you know those guys? Like, he's got a big beard, and he's got these shirts. And on one of his shirts, it's got a skull and flames on it. And it says, "Rules for dating my daughter." And it's supposed to be all, like, intimidating. It's like, "Rule number 1, if you break her heart, I'll kill you." And, like, "Rule number 2, I know where you live," and, like, shit like that. And I think that's kind of dumb, but I want to make a shirt just like that. But I want to have really reasonable rules instead. "Rules for dating my daughter. Rule number 1. I'd like to meet you at some point. I would. It doesn't have to be right away. I think that'd be nice. Rule number 2 for dating my daughter. If you guys go out to a restaurant, be sure to bring a jacket, because it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It gets drafty in some of those places. Have you been to a Denny's? Sometimes they're cold. Rule number 3 for dating my daughter: have fun, you two. Have a good time. You're only young once. Enjoy it. Hope you like chili, because I'm making some for you. I just want to be a weird dad. Our neighborhood isn't very good. I grew up in kind of a bad neighborhood too, though, so I'm used to it. I remember one winter I woke up in my parents' house and I looked outside and there were footprints in the snow, and the footprints led up to all of our windows and doors. So I went and woke up my dad and I was like, "Oh my God, Dad, Santa was here." And he loaded a gun and ran outside. And that was also the year that my parents stopped putting "From Santa" on some of the presents. So like, I just assumed my dad fucking killed Santa. Like, other kids at school would be like, "You know there's no Santa, right?" It's like, "Yeah, I do. I do know that." I know exactly why, too. My dad's a weird dude. He's a weird dude. I didn't know what to get him for Christmas, because my dad's retired, like he's older now, and he never played video games in his life. So I got him a system and I got him a game. I got him Red Dead Redemption, and like, he plays it, but he doesn't do any of the missions. He just patrols the border with Mexico the whole time. He's really into it, like he loves it. He loves it. He wears a gun